What's up, guys? Welcome to the Stats Free Sports channel. Here to bring you NBA prediction video on Zach Lavine. I believe he'll be traded to Detroit Pistons this offseason. Let's get into why, guys. So let's tackle the curious case of Zach Lavine. With if everything was perfect in a perfect world, all of the cons on Zach Lavine weren't there. People will be banging down the door the Chicago Bulls to land Zach Lavine. You will see contenders out the woodwork, the Sixers, the Lakers, the list goes on. The Nets, the Knicks, teams will be busting through the door to get Zach Lavine. But now it's looking like there's no trade value for the Bulls star guard. And we all know why. The biggest ability is availability. And this past season, Zach only played 25 games. But even going through his entire history, since joining the league really back in 2014. Had two good years, 2014, 2015, and then from that point on, 2016 season on, he's been struggling to even play 60 games. So you look at the 2016 season at 47, the next 24, 63, 60, 58, 67, 77, 25. But looking at the numbers, though, the numbers been great. The numbers been awesome. He's a bona fide, who I personally call, a three level, a professional scorer, a scorer that can that can beat you in all three levels. He can drive inside, bang on you, a dunk, tough layups. He got a nice little mid range, pull up mid range jumpers, all that good stuff. He can beat you deep with a good three ball. A pretty strong 3-point shooter. Average. His average. Look at numbers wise, average has been going down last couple of years, but that's kind of been doing to not really having a true point guard. I think, and as we all think as well, if Lonzo Ball would have been healthy the last couple of years, that Bulls team would look so much different. The last time we seen him with that Bulls team healthy, they were looking great. So they were having Alex Caruso, Kobe White, even DeMar DeRozan be the distributors of the ball. But Lonzo Ball would have been, the best case scenario if he would have panned out as far as the injury and that tough knee injury he's been dealing with for the last couple of years. But on to Zach Lavine's future, though, there are teams that could still want him. I think there's two, and I'll mention the one I predict on first, and that's the Detroit Pistons. But there's one more other team out there that could use his services, and I'll get into that later. But on to the Pistons. Why the Pistons? So, if you don't know, the Pistons were talking to the Bulls this past trade deadline that just passed around January, and they were trying to get Zach Lavine, but the Bulls' asking price was too high. At that time, they wanted Bojan Bogdanovic, who is now with the New York Knicks, who he himself was on the trade block for a while. That the Pistons were due to trade him about a year. It ended up taking a little longer than I personally thought. I thought he would be going during the summertime, but it took them to the trade deadline. But he went to the Knicks. But the Bulls wanted a first round pick or Bogdanovich, or they also wanted Bogdanovich and a young player like Ivy, like the Thompson twin, or they wanted Jalen Duran. Obviously, those guys were no go. I wouldn't have done either. Even if Zach Lavine was balling and being healthy, I wouldn't have done that either. I like Ivy a lot. I like Duran. He made me a lot of money on my parlays last year with double doubles and the 10 rebounds, and he's very active, very good, uh, strong center. For the next couple of years, so I wouldn't touch none of those guys. And Thompson Twin either. He was good as well. So, but I do get the fact that you want a veteran bona fide scorer to go with Cade. That makes sense. But is Zach the right guy? I think if the Pistons felt that way about him in January, there's not much difference here. The same thing's gonna happen. The major thing is the injury bug. Can he shake that off? Can he beat that? This year was terrible, playing only 25 games, but going back the last couple of years, he at least give you around 60. The last time he didn't give you around 60 outside of 2023, 2024 season was a 2017 season. And that was, and that was due to an injury as well. He only played 24, but every other season he's been around 60, 63, 60, 58, 67, and 77. Like I said, this year 25. So, if this is going off of history, Zach Lavine will at least give you 60 games for the Pistons next year. Hopefully, Cade stays healthy. He's been someone as well in his early part of his career that can't seem to stay healthy for a long time. Been missing a lot of games also. So, projected starting lineup of Ivy, Zach, Cade, the Thompson twin, and then Duran. That's not bad. Good switchability, good offense, with Ivy, Zach, and Cade. And then you have, the other guys who can fill their role, and Duran and Thompson, and, be kind of all around players, especially Thompson, kind of a Swiss Army knife. They'll give you something to work with. And also, uh, the Pistons don't really have to give up much because I think the NBA knows, the NBA circle knows now Zach Lavine's going to go for a bag of chips. He really is. And all the Pistons have to give up, in my opinion, probably a couple guys, and also one pick. So in my projected trade, I have the Bulls trading Zach Lavine and pick 11 to the Pistons for pick 5, Isaiah Stewart, and probably Quentin Grimes. I think those two guys, two veteran players who could help the Bulls out right now in their little rebuild process. I think DeMar DeRozan will be gone. I think Caruso could be gone, and you're gonna have a team, probably the best player being Kobe White as of right now. So PJ, I think it's PJ Williams. He didn't really pan out quite yet. He's okay, but he's not the guy they thought that he could have progressed to when they drafted him. I forgot what school he went to. So I think next year we could go to a year and see Kobe White being the best player on that Bulls roster, surrounded by a bunch of just a weird compiled team until they get their new young star in that building. So as of right now, um, I just see that the Bulls trying to get that pick 5, and probably going to be Matas Buzelis, pretty good foreign player, or not foreign. He played in the G League last year, but he's pretty solid. Definitely has some growth potential. He's cool, but I don't know why the rumors about him are so heavy for the Bulls. Like I said, I don't see him being much better than a above average player. Slightly above average player, but we'll see. I could be wrong there, but he's someone that Bulls fans seem to like a lot, and we'll see what his future holds. But that's the big rumor that the Bulls want to get into that top 5. The Grizzlies also are looking to trade out of the top 5. Could they be a trade partner for Zach Lavine? Do they need Zach Lavine? Doubtful. So that's kind of why I didn't go that route. But another team that's involved potentially, and I think that could make a play for Zach. I still wouldn't love the move either, but you kind of have to make some shake, and that's Zach Lavine to the Utah Jazz. Trading a mixture of Colin Sexton or Jordan Clarkson and some stuff, picks or something to get Zach Lavine. Is that a good move? I don't know. But Clarkson going to the Bulls would be a waste. So I would probably say a 3-team trade should be involved or something. And Clarkson goes somewhere else to a contender like the Timberwolves, like the Lakers. The same old teams that need to get better. The Nuggets even. You never know. So one of those contenders gets Clarkson, and then you put the other assets going to the Bulls, and then Zach Lavine goes to the Jazz, pairing him with Lauri Markkinen. Is that the greatest? Not really, but you need to have Markkinen and John Collins involved as well too, because you know, as I've been saying, I'm an anti John Collins guy. Respect to him, all that good stuff, but I've never saw what people saw in him. I never did. He's cool at best. He's average at the very best. But I think the report is out again that I've been saying for a while now that John Collins is not that guy. And the rumor is that the Utah Jazz want to trade John Collins this offseason. Makes sense to me. I've been saying that for a while. I'm not. And when I talk about negative about guys, I don't mean they should be out the league, but I just think, I think people shouldn't really herald them the way they herald John Collins. I was calling for John Collins to be traded by the Hawks for years, years, not just 1 year. Before it happened, 2, 3 years. I've been seeing the John Collins thing. Yeah, he's a high flyer dunk guy. He can pop a three here and there in the corner. He's cool, but he's just not. He's just serviceable. He's nothing. He's nothing great. He's nothing to really write home about. And some of these Hawk fans back in the day used to fight me about it because they love John. A lot of them love John Collins. I never saw, what they saw in him. But it is what it is. But I do think John Collins will be a moving piece in this deal as well because he doesn't really need the Jazz don't really need him. You have Walker Kessler who stepped up, who was a gem of a find. He was already solid coming out of college, but he panned out greatly. You have him with Lauri Markkinen, and now you have to find a star guard. Sexton that doesn't fit that bill. Clarkson doesn't fit that bill either. You need someone more marketable. You need someone with a more scoring potential on a night-in basis. And I think Zach Lavine fits that mark perfectly. But like I said, you gotta stay healthy, and that's the biggest part there. So we'll see what happens. My pick is the Detroit Pistons. I don't think a contender picks up Zach Lavine. It's just too risky, to give assets for a player who can't stay healthy. I know we have Zach Lavine has clutch sports partnerships and stuff like that, and he knows. We've seen him dap LeBron up and his whole crew there, stuff like that. The Lakers to me, as I said, it would make sense if he was healthy, but he's not. The Sixers would make sense if he was healthy, but he can't stay healthy. So I think those contenders, the stars might be cool with Zach Lavine. They know his potential, know his talent, but end all be all, I don't think they want them to pull the trigger on getting Zach Lavine in a big time trade. Because let's say the Lakers have to give up Austin Reeves, they have to give up Rui for Rui isn't the greatest. Don't get me wrong, but you you give up Rui, Vanderbilt, and other pieces to bring in Zach Lavine, who plays 50 games, 45 games. You need someone that's going to be there 60 plus games, 70 games potentially to take over for Bron. Bron is getting a year older every year. Every time he plays, he's getting older. More mileage, more stress, more stuff on the body. You want to have someone that can take over, and Zach would be that guy. He really would be if he could stay healthy, and you just can't bank on it. So I think a young team, Magic, Pistons, Utah, go for Zach Lavine. They go for the bait. They pay that 30, 40, $50 million that he's owed the rest of the next couple years, and then they're gonna probably regret it, but at least they're gonna try. They're already in purgatory anyway. Might as well try to make a splash move. But we'll see. We'll see how everything works out. That's it for video, guys. Like, share, comment, subscribe. I will see you guys next time.